Hi, Flosstube. My name is Becca, and I'm SamBrie Stitches here on YouTube and Instagram. And this is another special edition of Interview with a Flosstuber. I sound a little weird. I am currently in the midst of COVID, but we're going to get through this. We've already postponed this interview a couple of days, and I really wanted to get a chance to talk with these amazing ladies. I am super excited to be here with Tiffany, Ansley, and Addie, and they are Stitching with the Twins. Their channel is a fairly newer one, but the community has just fallen in love with their channel, as well as myself. What is not to love? A mother and her daughters stitching together is amazing. And it's really cool that they're able to show their whips. They talk about their personal life, which is really nice. So we get to know them on a personal level as well. And it's just really cool. I think we need more channels like that. I was trying to get my daughter, who is 23, to join my channel because she stitches. It took her 23 years, so you're lucky. You're stitching young. But it's not happening. So it's really neat to be able to watch them and just see how they share the love of stitching amongst everything else. So it's pretty cool. If you're not familiar with their channel, it'll be linked down below. And I really hope that you all go check them out and subscribe and just show them some love because they deserve it. They're just truly amazing. And it's so cool to see them stitching.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And thank you guys for kind of switching your schedule around so that we could make this.
Yeah, no problem. We were so excited when you asked. When I got your email, the girls were like, so we were excited, huh?
No. Hopefully she didn't tip over the chair.
Yeah, no, I didn't tip over a chair. I wasn't that
excited, but a little excited.
Yeah.
She must have tip over the chair.
That works. Okay, well, we're going to jump into the questions if y'all are ready. The first one is, why did you start a Flosstube? Were there any particular motivations?
You need some?
You can go first.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is tricky.
You're fine.
Why did you say? Well, remember one of the questions. What did you say? You liked watching other ones?
Mm-hmm. And it made me want to start.
So you liked watching other Flosstubers, and it kind of you wanted to be part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So was it your idea then, and then you kind of convinced everybody, or how did it work?
A little bit. Yeah, I think I took the most convincing. I wasn't too. But I figured it might encourage them to stitch a little bit more or encourage other kids to start stitching if they could see the girls trying it. So yeah, I figured we'd give it a shot.
Well, I saw some of the comments, and I think you reposted a couple of them on Instagram where I saw other moms or other people, posting that they hope that their kids would,
right.
inspired. So that's huge to just be.
Right, that's our goal, hopefully.
Yeah.
Give someone else, maybe if it's out of their comfort zone, give it a shot at least.
She's so quiet. She's not really a talker.
That's okay. Maybe one of the questions will come up. So how did you come up with your channel name? I mean, it's kind of obvious, but
right. that was Ansley.
Well, I figured since we were twins, we could name it something with the word twins in it. And we just mostly watched Stitching with Housewives, so I got the idea to add twins in it.
Yeah. The perfect name. How old are you two?
9, 10.
Yeah, they'll be 10 next month.
Very cool. Oh, happy early birthday. That's exciting. Do you have any birthday plans?
I want to go to Cook's Forest.
They have like a water park, fun park up on the other side of.
And I want to go there.
Go there, yeah.
So it's so fun.
It is fun. They like going there.
Like a little golf course, but
Cool.
I didn't do it last time because it was so busy. I like the water bumper cars things.
Oh yeah.
Now I don't even drive crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds like fun. You guys will have a blast. So this is a fun question because I'm curious, since you're 9, how did you learn to stitch and how long have you been stitching?
I just started and we learned from.
Yeah, I taught them, Adelaide just started probably about a month before we started our Flosstube.
Oh, wow. Really?
And yeah, not long. Ansley, you've been stitching
For 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she started with embroidery and really liked that, and then we moved up to cross stitch. And Adelie didn't like the embroidery, so she didn't want nothing to do with it until she saw her sister cross stitching, and then she's like, "I think I'll try that," and it worked. Huh? It took off.
Yes.
I'm right there with you with embroidery. I can't really get into the embroidery at all, but cross stitching.
Good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then Tiffany, how long have you been stitching?
Cross stitching only about 3 years, and I didn't do much of it. I did embroidery for many years. And I bought a kit at Walmart, during COVID. We'll put it in a grocery pickup, and then I found the Flosstube, and now I'm hooked.
It's a huge rabbit hole once you do that.
Yeah, it is.
And a lot of people found stitching through COVID, as well. So that's kind of neat. There's this whole new community of Flosstubers and stitchers that have kind of developed out of the past couple of years, which is really, our community just keeps growing, which is great. So do you, you've been stitching for such a short amount of time, but do you have a favorite project that you've stitched? Any of you?
Mine is probably my unicorn one.
That one's pretty cool.
Mine is my strawberry seeds.
The strawberry seeds ones? Yeah.
I know, yes.
Which one's mine?
This is the day.
Yeah, I'm still stitching This Is the Day, but it's my favorite so far.
See, I was right.
You were right.
That's neat. That's neat. Yeah, it's always hard to pick a favorite, but if you don't have many projects going on, then it helps a little bit more. So
I'm also doing the Teresa Kogut Love Is the Key, and that's right up there. So that and This Is the Day are my two.
Teresa,
so far.
They get me.
This is my first one, and I am loving it.
Wait until you dive into some of her patterns. I stitched Land That I Love. I have it up on my wall. That is I think that's my favorite so far. It's just, she's just an awesome designer.
She is. She really is.
So what do y'all enjoy most about stitching?
You said colors.
No, I said colors.
Oh, yeah.
Changing the colors. I like when we change the colors.
I know, I remember what on a project, like starting something new.
Oh, okay. So you like starting something new. All right. Cool.
I like the color change. Because watching it, evolve from this little tiny square to just something. Yeah.
Yep. I always refer to it as kind of like painting with floss, because you start out with one color. And we don't really notice it because I'm working on a full coverage for my husband. And, when we're stitching, we're up close and we're stitching. And then when you hold it back to take the picture or whatever to do the update, you're like, what is this? So it's kind of cool for us too to see it as it grows and and I bet it's fun for you girls too to kind of see, since you're newer, to see your pieces kind of come into life, which is pretty. Yeah. So we're going to kind of get out of stitching a little bit and get to learn a little bit more about you both. And do you have a favorite genre of book or movie that you tend to?
My favorite book is Upside Down Magic, and my favorite movie is The Dog's Way Home.
Is the what?
The Dog's Way Home.
Oh, Dog's Way Home. Okay, I've not heard of that one. I'll have to.
It's very good. You'll need tissues.
Oh,
you'll need tissues.
No.
It's a good one though, huh?
My favorite movie is the exact same favorite movie like her, and my favorite books are the Minecraft books.
Oh, cool.
Yes, they're like mystery. That's my favorite. And anything crime, mystery, suspense. I'm there for all that. But my favorite movie is A Walk to Remember. I'll watch that over and over and over and over.
That one. I think that one's another
Yeah, tissues. Yep.
Yep. The emotional ones for sure. So do you have a fictional place that you'd most like to go to?
Where did you say? Where's your fictional place that you'd like to go?
Like to go.
Mm-hmm. Remember we were talking about in like a movie or a book, if you could go to a plot there. Where was yours?
Mine is Harry Potter.
Hogwarts, yeah.
Exact same thing with mine.
I knew that would be theirs when I explained what that meant to them. So
What's yours?
I would probably, it's so random, but I would say the 100-Acre Woods with Winnie the Pooh. It's just always so colorful and nice, and that'd be my place to go. Be Pooh's friend for the day.
Weird.
I know, I don't know. When I was thinking, that's what I thought of.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think I would go, I'd like the 100-Acre Woods. Harry Potter is very, very popular in the community, and with all the interviews I've done there, I would say a huge chunk would go to like Hogwarts and in Harry Potter. But I think I would like the Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
I would just go and relax in the field and sit there.
Yeah, I don't know why, but when I read that question, that was the first thing that came to my mind. So it must have been what I want. So
I want to go with Eeyore. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. That's so funny.
He's my grandma's favorite too.
Mm-hmm. He is grandma's favorite.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. But Harry Potter is really cool too. So there's a lot of Harry Potter like fan art cross stitch design out there too, which is really neat. So yeah. So this is a fun one. I'm kind of curious. If you could choose to do anything for a day, what would it be?
I already have my answer. Go to that water, that Cook's Forest Water Fun Park for a day. That's for
the whole day. That's what you would want. Yeah.
Be lazy.
Addie's would be lazy. That fits her to a T.
Yeah, I'm good at being lazy.
Yeah.
I bring my whole bed down.
She does. She comes down in the morning and I'm like, you just got out of it. And she's got all her blankets and stuffies and ready for the day.
Yes. Okay. We're like two peas in a pod. Right?
Choose
Mine would probably be to spend a day with my grandma again. That would be. She's the one who taught me to embroider and stitch, and she left us her house, so we're in the middle of renovating it, remodeling, and so I feel she raised me pretty much when my mom was at work and stuff. So this was home, so it's nice to get raise the girls here and now, and just have her come back and see it and spend the day here. That would be mine if I could pick.
That's so neat, and she's there, and I'm sure she's there in spirit. That with that house and how close you were. And that's so funny that you said that, because last night I was going through eBay and antique samplers because I'm just on hunt for reproducing, and I came across a Dutch one that had my grandma, who's no longer with us, had her name in Dutch.
Oh.
It up, and I'm like making sure that the English version was Gertrude, and I started thinking about my grandma, and I was talking to my husband, and he was like, you have to buy it, because it has special needs. So it's so funny that you mentioned your grandma, because last night I was going through the whole thing of
yeah,
and listener. I think that would be the perfect day, is just spend loved one for sure. So yeah. But also, I think I would bring down my blankets and my
yeah.
I found one a blanket that was so soft.
Yeah.
She'll try to sneak blankets in the cart.
She does.
Really? Yeah.
Or if she goes somewhere, she stuffs them in her bag so she can take it with her.
I love it. I love it. My younger daughter will bring like her Squishmallow or something like that, and like maybe sometimes a little pillow if we go on a car ride, and she's now almost 18. So
yeah, I figure it'll stick. Huh.
Yeah, that's cool. So do you have any other hobbies besides cross stitch? I know you girls do.
Softball, which today is our last game.
Oh, that's exciting.
Softball Legos.
Softball Legos.
I heard you've been doing really well with softball too, and I just your latest video. So that's
yeah, they've been doing great this season. This is their last year in the minor league. So they'll move up next year to kid pitch. So it'll be a new ball game, but they got to learn somewhere. So they're enjoying it and they do pretty well. So we'll keep going. I crochet.
Oh, wow.
I like to sew. I would like to start getting into quilting more. So I've been reading some books and trying to learn that. But crocheting I've been doing forever.
Do you make like those little, like the little doll type things? Can you make?
Yeah, I have, and then like stuffed animals and blankets and hats and a little bit of everything, I think.
Oh, my aunt has made me some owls and stuff like that, which is really neat. Quilting, I just kind of dipped my toes into it, and it's I just barely learned to sew a straight line. So, me and my sewing machine have not been friends for years, and so finally I put together just like a 5-inch like charm pack quilt for my husband. Was my first thing that I ever made, and it turned out wonky, but he loves it. So quilting is fun.
Right, you have to start somewhere, so it's not all going to be. That's my first project bag. Instead of being a square, it was like, this way, but it worked, and now I've made so many I could probably do it in my sleep.
That's cool. I have not attempted a project bag. I don't know if I will, but you girls have used the sewing machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Like, I'll go the whole way off the line.
Yeah, Ansley is a lead foot, so I'm nervous about when she starts driving because she just puts that pedal to the metal and goes. Huh.
Yeah, she's like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard it straight and everything.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. That was me when I first started because, trying to learn the pressure of the pedal and all that. Yeah. I guess it is a good point. It's like a little bit driving.
Yeah.
She
drives fast on the 4-wheeler and it makes me nervous, but she does all right.
I like on that thing. I go fast. It goes,
yeah.
She took me over once.
Yeah.
On it. I've never rode with her on a 4-wheeler again.
Yeah, Addie won't ride with her. She's too fast.
We won't ride with each other.
That's funny. All right. So this is kind of a fun one. Usually I ask how your friends would describe you, but if y'all want to how would you describe each other? That'd be great too, but it's a fun question.
Weird or crazy?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Lazy,
Addie. Yep, that's a good one for her. What about me? Old. That's how I feel most days. Yeah, they hear that every day.
Me too.
I think I'm funny. My husband doesn't think I'm funny, but I think I am, and other people do. But
funny and old.
We'll go with that.
All right.
My second one is
kind. Yeah.
Lazy and kind. No?
Yes, you're kind.
That's funny. I think I'm funny too, but my husband doesn't think I'm funny. So I think it's just different sense of humor.
Right. Because I crack myself up sometimes and he'll just look at me and I'm like, you didn't think that was funny?
Yep, me too. That's too funny. He's like, you have issues. Like, maybe I do.
Yeah, I have them too. So,
yeah.
The other day, Dad put an ice cube down Mom's shirt, and so she's slow.
I am a slow runner.
He was like running, and she was like behind there running slow.
I didn't think that was very funny, but he did.
It was so funny.
Yeah. I don't know if I think that was very funny. That you two sound like me and my husband. Like he'll do stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, that's not funny. But jokes are showing memes, and it'd be like, you have issues. Oh, okay. But it just shows you two have fun. That's
right, exactly.
So we're gonna get back to Stitchy Talk a little bit. This, how do you prefer to stitch? Do you use a hoop, a Q-snap?
Q-snap.
Q-snap?
Yeah. And Addie uses a Q-snap, Ansley uses a hoop, and I'll use either. I've tried to stitch in hand, and I can't do it. My tension's all off.
I like using also the little
wood pieces that my unicorn I like stitching on
Oh, yeah,
those.
because it is like an in hand, because it's all on wood already. So,
Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to have it in a frame or anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like Q-snaps too. I can't do the in hand. Even though I'm mainly an Ada stitcher, I can't figure that out. So so do you guys stitch on Ada then?
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. For the most part? Yeah.
Mhm.
And then what's your preferred fabric that you use?
I like an even weave. I have a couple on linen and I like them, but I don't like the imperfections. Like when there's a big piece of fabric or balled up there, I don't like that. I like it to be all uniform, so I would prefer even weave.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I said, I've stitched on Ada for over 20 something years, and starting to do the reproduction samplers, charting them. I'm stitching on 36 count linen, and I am not a fan, like, because the linen's not terrible, but I see what you're saying, because I'm so used to it that I'm like 1, 2. And then there's like there's slubs, like these little pieces, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, because then your stitch is like crooked because it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to not do linen as much as possible and get model stitchers or something. I can't do it. Bugs are attacking me out here. Let's see. Do you have a favorite place that y'all have traveled? And I don't know if did you bring any crafts or anything? Because I know since y'all are kind of newer to stitching.
Where's your favorite place we've been to?
Mom, you really thought it would be Disney World, but it's actually it's probably Outer Banks.
Oh, okay.
You like going to the beach at Outer Banks?
World.
Yours is Disney World?
Mm-hmm. I pack all my stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, she just takes her stuff. I take crochet. Now I will take cross stitch, but I used to take crochet with me everywhere. So
crochet is a pretty portable type of craft, I would think. But so why Outer Banks over Disney? I'm just curious.
Because I really like the beach.
Yeah, me too. I grew up at the beach, basically camping every weekend. So I'm
And we're doing our bedroom theme beach, and I
cool.
Really like the beach. Don't know why, I just love it.
Yeah. I think it's relaxing, and it's just nice to be able to. Do you build sand castles and that kind of stuff too?
Yeah, we buried Dad, and then we said we were almost done, but we were done, and then we took buckets of cold water and splashed it. So we were running, and he was chasing us. I like when he catches those little sand crabs.
Sand crabs, yeah.
Because he tries to catch them, and the one that we got you is like the size of his hand.
They were big.
Huge. And he was chasing after it. And then the one was so tiny, like about the size.
Really? Wow.
They were tiny.
Wow, that's cool. Well, it sounds like you guys have great family vacations together, which is kind of neat.
We do. It's nice.
Yeah. That's very cool. So what can you not do without for your stitching, like your must have besides the basics, which is your fabric and your needle and your floss? Is there anything you can't stitch without?
Needle minder.
Needle minder?
Because I always lose my needle.
She does. Anything for you?
I don't know. You go first.
I have to have a stand for my pattern. I don't like it laying down. I want to be able to look at it without having to pick it back up. And so I'd probably say like my little easel for my patterns.
I would actually have to pick a project bag. They keep your stuff in so you don't lose it.
That's good.
I like my project bags. I like them to match.
That's what I do. The same theme. Yep.
I tell you, as stitchers, it gets dangerous because, you know, most people just think all we need is the pattern, the fabric, the floss, and a needle, and we're good. But we don't. We need our needle binders. We need our project bags that match. We need, you know, our frames of some sort. And there's so much more that we need. So, yeah, it gets dangerous.
It does.
So how do you decide on what you're going to work on next for your projects?
I just pick mine.
Yeah, just whatever kind of calls to you.
Yeah, I just grab it. I have to really like it.
Yeah.
You?
Right. I think colors. I'm going to go with if I see a color palette that intrigues me, or if I see a design that will look good in a different color palette, something to do with the colors of it.
Yeah. That's a new one. I haven't really heard anybody's. I've heard like a lot of people say whatever calls to them, they'll just, work on, or whatever's closest. But I kind of like the color thing, whatever is really calling to you with that. That's kind of neat. So before we get to the very last question, I was just curious if there is, anything that people don't know about you that you want them to know through your videos at all.
I'm in love with stuffies.
You're in love with stuffies? Yeah. People will probably know that after this.
Because I have like 100 stuffies I keep on my bed. You already know that I love the beach, and I really like painting beach pictures.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you paint.
I'm a perfectionist, and people will probably start realizing that soon, but everything I do, and I don't want to be that way sometimes, but it's just in my nature where it's got to be uniform, and I strive to do everything I can the right way. I drive my husband crazy with that, but I can't help it.
Yeah, like decorating the Christmas tree after we decorated it. We sneak down the steps and see you
redecorate it.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that though too. Like when my girls do it, it has to be spaced.
Exactly.
So the other time we were like spacing them out. We was like, "Is this good, Mom? Is this good?"
Yeah, you did good this year. They did very well. I didn't have to go rearrange anything.
This year? So you keep
this past Christmas, right?
That's funny. Now the Christmas tree, I do the same thing. So, don't feel bad on that aspect. I think I should be a little bit more of a perfectionist because, my house is kind of a mess right now. It might be
You've been sick though, so.
Yeah, that is true. All right. So we are down to the last question. And this is kind of pretty much, I think, my most favorite out of all of them. And it's, what's the best thing that has happened to you within the past couple of years? Because the past couple of years have been rough with COVID.
Right.
So,
I had that one easy.
Okay.
It would have to be my grandma surprising me and my sister and my mom and my dad at Disney World.
Mm-hmm. They did. The girls didn't know they were coming, and my mom and my aunt flew down, and we took a picture in front of the castle, and we showed the girls the picture, and then that's when they realized that my mom and my aunt were in it because they were hiding behind the bush. So that was a pretty good surprise, huh?
I like surprises.
Yeah, and Ainsley's anything with a surprise.
Yeah.
I just think they're fun. What's yours?
Mine. I would have to say, honestly, the friends that I've made in the last few months of the community, the stitching community, because some of them seem like better friends than friends I've had for years. They're just so opening and welcoming and nice, and you have that connection that I would have to say the friends I've been making.
Yeah, I see that 100%. And it's funny that you said that it seems better than the friends that you have, Same with me. That's why I started Flosstube like 3+ years ago or whatever, was because of I was in a bad place with friends that I had. And this community is absolutely amazing. so welcoming, and complete strangers become your closest friends
Right.
and meet in person. But it's just crazy how stitching brings everybody together.
That's what Adelie says about, I wish everybody was as nice as Stitchers, because it is true. So many people, have left wonderful comments or offered to send the girls little things, or just send thank you cards for doing the Flosstubes, and they're just so sweet. People have been so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys are out and about, do you ever bring stitching like with you anywhere?
I do. They haven't yet.
So
We're hoping at the beach we're gonna bring some stitching with us. We both want to stitch. It's this beach one.
that beach themed one, yeah. I have a beach themed pattern coming out. My sister is actually stitching the model. So when she finishes, I will send you all a copy of the beach one. If you like the beach one so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Based on my area in the Pacific Northwest. And once she finishes stitching it, I don't know how long it'll take, but I will send it since you guys like beach stuff. But
Thank you.
Thank you. We can hang it in our room then.
Yeah.
but I was asking if you stitched like out in the wild, basically, because I take my stitching everywhere, and my husband and I, we go on adventures, and we'll be up at Hurricane Ridge and he'll be off hiking and I'll be sitting there stitching, and complete strangers that I've never met that are just there visiting happen to walk by and see me stitching, and they'll stop and they'll ask, some of them are fellow stitchers that, just they didn't think to pack their stitching,
Right.
or they didn't know about Flosstube. So when you're out in the wild and you're stitching, people will walk up to you and they'll ask you what you're doing, and it just shows you think the community is amazing now with doing Flosstube. Out in kind of in your personal world, you'll see that too. It's just absolutely amazing. It brings out the best in people. So
It does. It really does.
yeah, for sure. So all right, well, we made it through the interview. What you
did.
That was fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
Nervous, so
At first I was like nervous.
No, you're good. Not nervous anymore.
it wasn't too bad, right? No, just talking. It's just chit chatting. But thank you so much for taking time out of your days. I know you have a big final game coming up tonight. So
Well, thank you for asking us. We were very honored and appreciative.
I like it.
Yeah.
like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll enjoy watching it when it goes up on Father's Day. Speaking of Father's Day, any dads that are watching or happen to be walking by, spouses or significant others are watching, happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys have a great Father's Day plan for your dad as well. So,
I do.
Yeah.
all right. So we will say bye to everybody on Flosstube.
Bye.
Bye.